What up? What up? What up? You already know we kicking off with amazing vibes. It is the Artist Mindset Workshop podcast. You already know I'm Dimitri Green, kicking it with Chevy B, Vito, and Petey Clicks. We're checking in. What's up, fellas?
Hey.
Kicking it. Glad to be back. What are we, week 5 now?
Week 5.
Season 4.
Yeah, we're getting
Week 5, getting deep into this thing.
Oh, yeah.
You already know we're at Icon Collective, where you started known, finished legendary. We're on live on Zoom, Instagram, and YouTube. Most importantly, come into the Zoom as we grow, technology gets better, and we now have the ability to chat with you live. So if you're coming to the Zoom room, turn the camera on, raise your hand, and come chat with us and get interactive with us. That's our new addition that we're having to the show during our Q&A. So get ready for that. We're going to have a crazy discussion today.
Kind of came up like last week. We had a great question in the chat. We were talking about it, but we had some follow up for the person on who asked it via text. And I think it'll be really cool to be able to literally just work out some of these questions in real time with people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So stick around till the end. We got the sample pack, got some goodies for you, and let's kick it off. Let's talk about on campus open house.
Open house was Saturday. It was
sick.
It was really fun. It was cool.
Great speech, Chevy, by the way.
Oh, thanks, Pete.
I'm always there watching.
Thanks. I get nervous every time, even though I've done that speech.
That just means you love it.
Do you
That
kick
just
it
means
off
you
in the
love it.
performance theater?
Huh?
You
Yeah.
kick it off in the performance theater?
Yeah.
Nice.
I do a little talking to me and Ryan get up there and go through the program. Chevy does the inspirational,
The TED Talk
the TED Talk. But
Okay.
kind of thing.
it's sick. And then there's
Patiently
the-
waiting for the invite, to be able to represent Icon Collective, maybe
Yeah.
there or graduation, something.
Yeah.
Say something motivational.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Come on. Just
Got
messing,
you.
guys. Chat, what's up, y'all? Glad to see y'all
How's
back.
everybody? Welcome back. I saw Ken in there.
Ken.
Some regulars. Welcome back. Yeah. Open house was cool. As we've said before, open house here is a little different than, like a typical open house. We put you into the mastering studio, put you in the recording studio, start recording some live instruments and some vocals and guitar.
Yeah.
It's rapid fire though. You're like 20 minutes on one thing, 20 minutes, in another room doing something else. And then we wrap it up and just tell you all about what makes us different, what makes us the pirate ship to the traditional education model, which is what we truly are,
It's like Rising condensed into 3 hours.
Kind of, yeah. It's like,
Gotcha. Speaking of,
We got that coming up as well.
we got that
bang,
too.
bang.
June 23rd through 27th.
Yes.
Yeah, if a couple hours on a certain day it isn't really enough for you, then you come to
Yeah.
Rising.
Get the
Rising's how
the
many
full-
days?
It's 5 days.
5-day boot camp, training camp this summer. It'll be like a Monday through Friday, full day every day. It's like attending Icon for a week,
Yeah.
essentially.
A
But-
taste of what it's like to be a student.
Right. But a great place to really level up your game if you're kind of getting started with production and you're like, I just need some sound design tip. I got to figure out arrangement. I got to get faster in Ableton.
Yep.
I'd like some help with my mixes. Everything's covered in the whole thing. It's not like we have entire 6-month courses on mixing and stuff like that, so it's not going to be that in depth, but you are going to walk away leveled up for sure.
Absolutely.
I mean, if anything, I think the biggest thing is you get to feel the osmosis, as you always talk about, and really I think one of the coolest things sometimes there's people that come through that have been on the other side of the world or the country, and they've been entertaining coming, but they can't justify coming on just a one-day event. They're like, let me come out there, and then as soon as they come, they're like, oh shit, I need to get here now, and they usually if they've been tiptoeing, it's the thing that goes fuck, this osmosis is
You know what I remember about Rising? Sending hundreds and hundreds of drum samples that me and Patches did because we were doing snares, kicks, stambles, and so we were all chopping it up, and I swear we had hundreds of samples, but I remember for a week after Rising, I was just sending out packs to everybody because they were so dope. I had so much fun that day recording drums.
It's fun. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's cool. It's you get to use the big room with the SSL and all that, and you get to see what that's all about.
Touch the knobs,
It's
get
fun,
the
right?
jitters out.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. I was like, come up here and touch the faders.
Yeah.
Just
Mess with the
know
patch
that
bay,
the equipment don't bite,
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's a great opportunity. I feel like most people probably haven't ever used a real SSL, and being able to come use it in an instructional environment with D
Mhm.
Green is fun. Like,
Facts.
and
Yeah.
Patches, shout out Patches, miss you Patches.
Yeah, miss
know.
you, Patches.
Man.
Patches.
On the East Coast.
My
Yeah.
son.
I know.
Can't.
Okay, so again,
That one really got Alex for some reason.
He's the true test.
Yeah.
Icon Rising again, June 23rd through
Through
27th.
27th, yeah.
Fire.
5
Sign
days.
up now.
And next open house is
August 9.
So-
Don't
I
quote
think
me on that,
August
but I think
9th, yeah,
August 9th
that's
is
what
what
we
we're
were talking
thinking
about
on.
today.
It'll be on the website shortly. We just did this one.
Yep.
We'll put that into the next one up soon. But those are the next opportunities to get involved with us. Come down and get your hands dirty. Had a good time. That was a good
It
open
was
house.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
Okay, sweet. All right, so we ready to get into the topic today?
Sure.
I'm ready.
What are we
I'm ready.
talking about?
We're talking about a recent tweet from the independent artist Russ, and I thought it was very interesting. So I'm going to read the tweet, chat. Be ready. Raise your hand. Type in the chat your response. If you're on Instagram, everywhere. This is what we're going to be talking about today. So Russ recently tweeted on Twitter, and he's talking about Spotify and the monthly listeners. And he says, Spotify should remove the public display of listener counts and streams. It's a catalyst for unhealthy comparisons. It creates misleading metrics like monthly listeners and incentivizes people to cheat so they can inflate the perception of popularity. Hiding the numbers would reduce the pressure to complete the inauthentic metrics and encourage a focus on the music itself. Look at Apple Music. There are zero convos on how music is performing on there or if streams are fake because you don't know, as it should be. He puts LMAO. It's nobody's business how the music is performing outside of the artist and their team. We live in this weird time where everyone feels entitled to know everybody's business because of social media. I get it, though, from Spotify's perspective, having the number public makes it a sport, which in turn drives engagement, et cetera, et cetera.
Wow.
So
You know, I posted this the other day.
I know.
And the only thing that I agree with it 100%. I just think that I was talking about this earlier with some students was like, I got so many likes posting that and so many people going like, yes, this is so true. And I just want to make sure people realize that like a lot of them, when they say that is like, because they're giving into the mental of it. And my analogy is like the metric has always been there, right? But we never know until you get a gold or a platinum record, right? You don't know that number until it's 1 million, 5 million. Until that point in the past, it's always just been, they're either a good band or they're a good artist and they're crushing it or whatever it is. So I be there because of the algorithm and everything, but it needs to be hidden because really what's happening when I'm getting that response is people agree with it, but they're not understanding it like that. They just want it to stop so they can stop looking at the number and chasing it.
So they can save themselves from that, and
Which is part of it.
Do you feel like these are all artists?
So if I can clarify, Vito, you're saying don't get rid of counting who's getting, streams and like the algorithm helps you find like music and that kind of thing, but just it doesn't need to be publicized. It doesn't need to be public.
Yeah, just that analogy that like, in the past before there was streaming, there were numbers, but the numbers were these high numbers that were like achievements, and not until you got 1 million sales or 5 million sales did you then say what your sales were, right? Until that point, you were just good, bad. You've seen them a lot. They were consistent. A lot of people were talking about them.
There was also like first week sales too and stuff like that.
There was, but usually that was just a chart. You didn't really know what the number was. Maybe some people would kind of say a number, but that was just kind of like a first week thing. You never really consistently had a gauge of what that was doing over time, I guess.
Right. And it seems like, now since we're so in a digital world that we can just detect numbers as they're instantly happening versus they probably had to wait a week or two to see reports that came in and then the numbers looked and then
usually you had to wait a whole quarter to see some sort of report. And
right. I remember when I started making music, shoot, I didn't know how many streams I had. The only way I knew was
a lot of people you'd have to care to even go and look at it. You know what I mean?
Right. Now we got back offices, DistroKids, and all these distributions where we can just straight look at it all day
Spotify
long.
metrics,
But
royalty sheets.
so you're in agreement that it should be removed completely?
100%. I agree with every way that he had articulated it, just in the sense of It just shouldn't be there. It really doesn't have a purpose. It's doing, it's taking away from the way that it used to be. And it's also like really mentally screwing people up, especially if they don't have the insight to understand what was going on
Yeah.
with the music business back in the day.
I also think a big part of the question is it's so easily bottable. You
Right.
know?
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
so easily faked and inflated. Like I've been in the rooms where they're like, "Hey man, you're blowing up. You got a good amount of followers. Like, what if we just doubled it?"
Right.
You know, I'm like, I'm not so into that. You know, and it's I always think it's fishy when you see somebody with 300,000 followers and 5 comments.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
and it's like,
Well, I think the question also is like, is it okay, or do we like the fact that Spotify is becoming like a social like platform in addition to a music streaming service? You know what I mean? Like where you follow artists and then those artists have numbers and it, you know, similar to like a TikTok account or an Instagram account where
Which I think it has to happen. I think the key word that he's using is hide, right? Like it needs to be there for the algorithm. Like they should be able to follow people. There should be a number in the background. But like even back in the day, if there was a follower, if I was a follower of a band or an artist, no
would
one
just
knows
yeah.
that, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I just am, and when we meet people, so it's just like I think it's the idea that like it has to exist in the background, but like it's kind of screwing up the
yeah.
psychological.
It seems like it's shifted the focus from making good music
Yeah.
to making stuff that gets numbers.
Right. And when you click follow, I mean, what's really happening after that? I mean, you're just just getting notifications on a new drop, and that's pretty much it. So just like Petey saying, like, where was the shift? Like, when did it come more about that versus pretty much like how many streams you got? I mean, why?
I would say
I was always
probably-
worried about how many streams and how
Yeah.
many views are people actually streaming the song.
Well, I think
versus
Spotify came out in 2014. Does that sound right?
Yeah,
I'm pretty
yeah,
sure
for
that's
and
when
I'm
a
not
lot of
getting
the, you know,
any
so
subscription money. So
Spotify was around before 2014, but I think maybe that's when it went public or
like,
something like
yeah.
that. Yeah.
that's when it really started popping, and like
Yeah,
I don't
but,
know. You'll notice a lot of my tunes from before 2014 on smaller labels never ended up on
same.
Spotify,
Like I
you
have a
know?
lot of songs that aren't on there, or I have songs that people put on there without the intention of them ever.
But I
going.
think that, you know, Spotify was a big driving force in the kind of, you know, I don't know what the word
Well,
is. But
I
It
think
is-
it has changed. It has changed the landscape, and I think part of what we're trying to talk about today about this topic is like, what does that mean for you as a musician, as a creator? Does it change? Does Spotify having metrics that are visible to everybody start to play a factor on how you approach the creation
Yes.
of your music?
absolutely.
absolutely.
Chat. This is the topic for the day. If you've got a thought or a question or a comment you want to chime in and chat with us, raise your hand in the Zoom room. We'll pipe you in. But what we're asking is, does the fact that Spotify has metrics on it make you create music differently, and is that good or is that bad?
Dun, dun, dun.
And I don't think, and if I could just give my personal sense as an artist who looks at that, who tries not to look at that
Yeah.
and ignore that number, because honestly, I mean, I'm not striving for big numbers on that. If I have 20 monthly followers, that's who I'm serving, and I don't think any farther than that.
Yeah.
You know, one listener at a time. But you know, I don't think it's a sense of like how making it a creative downfall, but you definitely second guess things. You
Yeah.
definitely
Mhm.
wonder if you're creating the right product, or
Even
you
if
know,
you're not,
you wonder why things are rolling.
yeah.
Let's hear from a couple people in chat. Tony, what's
Hello,
up, man?
hello. How we doing?
What's up, Tony?
What are your thoughts, brother?
So it's funny because I'm a pretty new artist when it comes to actually putting things out on Spotify, and I think it's definitely something that you keep in mind early on when you're posting, and it's like you're only getting so many numbers. It can be, or like such little streams, it can be a little bit it can be a little bit frustrating because you know that it is definitely a metric that people keep in mind. And
Right.
when people hunt around on Spotify, sometimes, they may see, a relatively new artist. And if there's not a ton of streams on it, I feel like that might be something that turns people away from wanting to engage with something. But It's
Right.
funny because another thing that I was thinking about on the SoundCloud side of things, right, is that's definitely a site where I would look at the play counts. Because like let's say you're on the hunt for flips and remixes of something, and you're like, okay, I want to find what's going to work the best for whatever set that I'm doing. I mean, if we're talking about hiding the stream counts on something like Spotify, a part of me is wondering, would it also make sense to do the same thing on something like SoundCloud?
That's an interesting point.
Hmm.
Like there is a little bit of value you can gain. Like if you're hunting for music to add to a set or something and you're
Yeah.
looking for like something that's got some traction. I
Track
mean, at the end of the
count's
day, I do think it's like you got to be the tastemaker.
Totally.
Right?
Absolutely, but I also think like with that being said, what SoundCloud does do good and what kind of organically happens with music is you start to value people's taste. And when they tell you to listen to something, and what happens there in so many different ways is like the people that I follow, I'm seeing what they're downloading and listening and reposting. So I'm
Right.
going like,
Mhm.
okay, cool. I've seen this song reposted by a bunch of people that I know, so it's probably
Yeah.
hot or somebody that I trust or I'm really digging.
Right.
You know,
Awesome. Thanks, Tony. Appreciate
that
your
was good.
input. We got a couple more.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I think streams.
Tobiah, do you want to?
Go,
We got
I-
a couple more.
yeah, go ahead.
Cool. I'm gonna
Yeah,
bring
sure.
in. Where'd you go on here?
So kind of my thoughts
Raise your
are,
hand, I can't see him. Okay.
you
What's up, man? How you doing?
know, what's good?
It's good. Thanks for popping in. So, what are your thoughts?
The mic working?
Yep.
Yeah,
yep,
we
can
got
hear
you. We got you.
Okay, sweet. So some of my thoughts is, I mean, it could be like creatively draining for you,
Yes.
just seeing like your music not doing as well as your peers. But then also I think it could be like a, creative standpoint as well. To where you want to be in the future. But then I also think it could be like a, an art thing. Are you making something, too polished or too clean just for the streams or whatever, and not creating like
Mhm.
actual art that you envision?
I think
right?
it could definitely like make you try to create something that's like something that has more streams, and therefore maybe
Yeah.
you're not making something as authentic as what
Yeah.
like you really truly desire to create, right?
Yeah.
So I want to know, Tobias. So, do you think it's beneficial? Would you remove it, or do you think we should keep
I think
it?
I would just keep it there, honestly, just to, well, on a
Okay.
personal level too, I just kind of like to see how songs are doing, see where the market is,
on your personal
That's it.
stuff,
or
on your
personal
personal
stuff
stuff,
and
or
other
other people.
other
But
people's
like,
stuff as well.
but
Okay.
like public numbers where you could see your monthly listeners.
Yeah, I kind of just like the public.
You like that? You like seeing that
Yeah.
an artist has 5 million monthly listeners? and
Yeah, I
you-
just kind of like seeing it, just see where the industry's at as a whole.
Okay.
That's
Um,
it's a fair it's I mean it's a fair position,
I
Yeah.
like it.
you know.
Cool.
It's an
Yeah.
interesting
Awesome.
thing to think about. I think also though, if you like it or not, it affects you whether you want it to or not, like subconsciously.
Right.
I think a lot of times in creative sessions when you're losing the wave, when you're losing the vibe, and you're getting writer's block or something like that, I think a lot of it has to do with you starting to think about whether your ideas are palatable to promoters or record labels, and you kind of lose what you're working on. You start projecting into the future and thinking about how your art's going to be accepted. And that can really make you lose the wave quickly.
Yeah, it may
Yeah.
not even make you want to create too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the best creative places I've ever been is when I just kind of try to forget about how all that stuff works, And I think even if we actively are thinking about how many followers someone has or not, if we're just picking it up when we hop on a Spotify page and like seeing kind of value in a numeric way, like that affects us subconsciously, even if we wanted to or not.
Right.
Definitely.
Just like a blue check mark.
Yeah.
On IG.
Well, I think that's
Yeah.
why my analogy lately has been like just that the number's always been there. It's just been different because if people don't understand, I think that's why it's easy for me to digest it because I know that that's how it existed, and I think that that's why it's the important thing because some people don't know that's how it was, and understanding that whether the number's there or not, you can start thinking of it differently.
And it'll mess you up because you can buy the numbers.
Yeah.
And mad people do.
Right.
And that you could do that. There was different tech.
Totally.
Yeah, always. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Awesome. Thank you, Tobiah. Appreciate your
Yeah.
input.
Yeah.
Thanks for popping in, man. Come back. Kick
Yeah,
it with
for
us.
Sure.
We got one more from Taylor. Taylor, what's going on?
Hey. Well, I'd say this. Like, I'm not an artist, right? But I'm on the management side and I'm on like side of, I speak for the average consumer, right?
Okay.
Okay.
in that sense, I say, screw the numbers. I would not, if I was an artist, I wouldn't pay attention to that, right? Like, I mean, it's good to know. It's good to know the market. It's good to know where a song is. But at the end of the day, you are the artist with the message. There is an audience for you, right? So don't try to let the listeners dictate what you make. You're the one with the message, right? You're the one that wants the platform. You're the one that is in the position, right? So you are the one that creates a narrative. I don't pay attention to that. Like, it's good to know. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to be like a super extremist, right? But it's good to know, where a song is doing, how a song is doing, and all that. Yeah, but man, screw that. Like, you're the one with the message. You're the one with the platform. You're the one you're like the parent in the relationship. The child doesn't tell the parent what to do. The parent tells the child what to do. So I'm going to tell you
Right.
to listen to. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Right.
going to make you want to listen to this, even if you don't like it.
Exactly.
Bars.
Preach, Taylor.
I agree with
Bars.
what
Let's
Taylor
go.
said
Yeah,
100%.
100%.
Yeah, so it don't matter.
I have a follow-up though. Taylor, you said you're in management. Is that right?
Yeah, I do a lot of like freelance management
Okay.
right now with Live Nation. So I'm in touring, right? And like I'm there to listen to those conversations and to see how people are getting I guess deals or like getting on tour or getting
Yeah, see, and
in
that
those
was
positions.
My
So
question is like, how do you balance then, a manager's job is to try and help an artist succeed. And a lot of people could perceive that as like, well, that means I should help them get more streams and that we should focus on that. But I love your message at the
Yeah.
same time that the artist shouldn't be thinking about that. So is that something that you think like as a manager, you try to focus on just driving an artist to do organically, or like where does that balance come into play for you?
So yeah, that's the key word, right? It's a balance. I think initially when I'm working and I'm in that position, my thing is let's get you a message. You need a concept. You need a world around you, right?
Yes.
You need to build a world around your music. Simple as that. So whatever your world building looks like right now is what it looks like. You have to get through that process. We can always worry about the streaming numbers. Something's going to hit, right? Something's
Mhm.
going to hit. Something's going to catch on fire, but you have to be consistent and you have to love or fall in love with the process, right? You have to be okay with, hey, this album or this mixtape or whatever we're releasing right now, it may not be doing the best. It may not stream the best numbers right now. That's ultimately kind of up to me and up to, whatever type of marketing that we have to get it up there. We're not worried about the streaming numbers right now.
Right.
We're worried about who you are. What do you have? I don't, and to be an artist is to share your art. It's to have depth and meaning and concept and world building behind you. It's not about streaming numbers and this and that. I mean, it is, right? But like we have to get that part done first, and then we'll worry about streaming numbers later.
And hopefully the knockdown effect of being effective in your world and your vision and your message is that then people align with you, they start streaming you,
Yeah.
they start following you,
Yeah.
and that stuff comes
Yes,
naturally.
because
Right?
everybody has an audience. I have an audience, you have an audience, everybody has an audience, a group of people that are going to follow them. And I mean, let's be real, average consumers, they like anything that they see that is in their face long enough. Eventually they're going to like it. So we have
Right.
to just put it in your face enough. Okay, we can do that. That's
Exactly.
not a hard thing to do. So
It's
we're
very
gonna work
refreshing
out
to know you're
really.
out here doing that stuff.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for your input, Taylor. Any final comments?
I mean, you guys are doing great. I love this.
Awesome.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
so much.
joining
Thank
us.
you.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
No, it's so good. And I think a lot of times it's pretty obvious when you create art that's driven by metrics and you're trying to keep up with the trends and, you check all the boxes on the sheet, but for some reason it just doesn't work out for you. I think it's because you're not creating
You're
that
not
world,
thorough.
you're not speaking your art from your person like she's talking about. You're worried about metrics.
But
Right.
that's the type of person you're really trying to get behind you that understands that it's there, but also like we're really focused on the things that are
Totally.
supposed to be focused on.
Art 1st.
Mhm.
It like reminded me of like the analogy that I heard of like a storefront, right? And the Spotify is just the mannequins and what's on the front, right? But then when you go into the store, you have to connect with the vibe and the message and the concept. You know, what you show and display has to have context inside the store.
Yeah.
And then you have to keep changing what's inside the stores to consistency to keep them around. So it's like, who cares about but you have to have the initial context of who you are before you can even just put the mannequins on the front to get people in.
You have to think about the right things at the right times.
Right. So if you're only thinking about metrics, you're just thinking about what's the hottest thing I could put in the front to just get that quick attention to come in. But just like Petey's saying, once you come into the store, some shit's going to be off balance.
But wouldn't it be better if you
Stuff.
say, let's run with this clothing store analogy. You as the designer, you make 30 outfits and you let the managers decide which one goes in the storefront. If you're creating outfits like I need to make something for the storefront, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
It's never the one that
It
goes on the
doesn't work
storefront.
like that.
Right.
You just make a bunch of clothes and then you look back at it and be like, oh, those are the 2 outfits that need to be up in the front. But I think if you're creating your outfits with the need to be, it just doesn't work like that.
Right. I wanted to ask her one more question since she was with Live Nation. And just when it comes to, I just think of like performances, right? And I know I've been turned down on shows because of Spotify monthly listeners. But I know that any person on stage that was probably on that show, I can absolutely, I guess like Martin said, I could stomp with the big dogs. I for sure could.
I mean, and that's the thing.
and,
It's like a lot of people are looking at the numbers and the
Right.
numbers only. That's why it's so
Right.
refreshing to hear her say that perspective from that angle and know
And
like,
have the
what
balance.
Really, yeah,
and have the balance.
Right.
That was awesome, man.
that was fire.
What?
We should do more of that.
Yeah, we need to
Yeah.
do more of those.
Yeah. Hop in the Zoom room. If you're watching, this is what we're doing now. Pop in the Zoom, pop on camera, chat with us.
Let us know. Yeah, the topic of the day, if you're just joining, is
Spotify.
Spotify play counts
numbers.
and monthly followers. Is it important? Is it helpful? Is it destructive to your creative process? Had some good chat. It's interesting because like I kind of thought everybody was going to be on one side where
Me too.
where it would be like, yeah, it's toxic, get rid of it. But some people are finding like it helpful and useful for their own purposes. So
Or it doesn't freaking matter.
Yeah.
It
I mean,
doesn't matter.
at the end of the day, yeah.
And that's to me, it's kind of like that's what the algorithm's doing. It's real life now. Like it's unpredictable. You don't know, and it was never like that. And somewhere in the mechanics of it, we started thinking like it's always specific shit. It's just live life, try things, create. You don't know what's going to work or what's not. Figure out if it makes it to the storefront or not.
Totally. It can fuck with you though. Like it's always weird when you get on like a new artist or something and you look and it's like all their songs have that less than 1,000 plays or something like that. Like that has to affect an artist, like subconsciously, like even if they're not actively pushing, trying to get shows, like you're saying, somebody hops on your page and they see it like that, and like, but that doesn't mean it's not good,
Right. That's why I want to go Super Saiyan and put
here
the
it
shades
goes.
on real quick.
What's
hater
happening?
blockers. Get the
What is
hater block-
happening?
Wow.
Who is
For all
this?
of you out there who go and find a new artist on Spotify that you just randomly popped on,
Mm-hmm.
and you look at them monthly listeners and you see maybe like 20, and you turn them away because of that, shame on you.
I pride myself in finding people like
I
that.
do.
I love finding rappers that have no listeners
I
and showing
love-
them DeVito and be like, look at this guy. Like,
But that's part of that thing where it's like I value your ear.
Yeah.
So it's like I kind of trust that, and that's kind of a cool thing. I'm not really a person that pays attention to numbers
Yeah.
because I also like get excited like when I show people stuff where I'm like, these people have no plays. Can you believe this?
and I think that's another
Right.
thing about the play count era is everybody likes the same artists now because they're all the most popular and the coolest ones, And I like, me, like I'm digging for
digging.
more interesting small artists.
There
'cause
is
that's
there
all
is
I
an
like to do.
interesting angle where there is, because the play count is visible, a low play count can maybe even make you appealing to a certain type of listener like Petey,
As an A&R, I love that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, you're good.
love breaking. small
Interesting. I was
artists
just
and
I was at that Muse Expo summit up here a few weeks ago, and there was a lot of talk from A&R about the research and finding new artists and that kind of thing, and there was some interesting debate where, like, I think typically, historically, majors have been looking for an artist that's like a sealed package that's got
Safe bet.
the plays, they've got the followers, they have a built-in crowd. They know like add them to this lineup, they're going to
Low
sell this many
risk.
tickets. Yeah,
Right,
exactly,
yeah.
right. But there were some other A&R agents on the panel saying like, like I get that, but at the end of the day, it's still got to be about music for me. And if I can help find something that nobody else has, then I've got a real piece of gold I can work with,
Absolutely.
But I think it does come down to like, are labels willing to put in the work these days? Are there funds available to an A&R to develop an artist? Are there inroads that make that a possibility anymore, or is it really like don't talk to me unless they're huge?
I mean, that's the thing about A&Rs. They're all just people at different labels. So I think from label to label, from major to independent, it just is different, And some labels might really want to find artists with small play counts so they can break them to the industry, and some people want to go with the safe bet.
I
But
just
there's
think it
space for everybody.
I think it comes down to like, is that A&R really digging? Are they looking past the numbers? Are they understanding like the way she looked at it with like the balance, and like, are they?
I would say some
Right.
are and some aren't.
Most aren't, because they're
Yeah.
just in it for the money and they're
Totally.
just chasing the numbers.
Absolutely.
For the
But then
safe bet.
But then there's some labels that curate a very specific vibe and are looking for artists to show the world.
Yeah,
you know?
they're
It's like
definitely
digging
are.
for crates, man.
Yeah,
You gotta
for
find
sure.
it. You
Straight
gotta
up.
find the record.
Yeah.
You gotta find the one.
Yeah.
And
Right?
that's the thing that I think is getting lost in the numbers. Is that
Yeah.
people aren't
Nobody wants to
digging
take a
because of
risk.
it.
They want to go with the safe bet.
Yeah.
I'll tell you
like-
what, I go on, let's say YouTube for information, right?
Mhm.
I can go to the big channel with the million views, but I guarantee you I can learn some valuable stuff on a channel that has 20 views.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And that's honestly more rare.
I read something about how YouTube is promoting those videos more now. They're trying to grow content creators to
Right.
attract them to YouTube, so they're spotlighting lower play count videos.
It's smart.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
smart because it's more viewer retention.
Yeah, and if only the big dogs get the money, then that doesn't curate
More.
a vibe for more creators. To
I
come.
noticed that the other day, just looking up something like
Getting like 200 views on a video.
like in the the
Yeah.
results at the top were not the
Yeah.
highest.
There was a big article. They're like shifting their focus to
Interesting.
to invite more people to become content creators.
Right. And that's I think 70% of the world is gonna be that in 10 years.
Totally.
I don't know if Instagram's algorithm switched up, but like in the last week, I've gotten like so many music in between my stories, like music promos from like
Yeah.
people I know and then like other people that I don't know.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they're changing something up to where like those ads are more algorithm
They're
based,
constantly changing.
not
it.
so much
Like,
based off like
yeah.
Google search.
It's always like I feel like every month there's something new.
Yeah, they're constantly switching up.
Yeah,
It's life.
it's wild. Got to roll with the punches.
We got people in chat saying boycott Spotify. People just hate because Spotify not playing artists fairly.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's
That's-
fair, but I think that's like it's a big job to try to change.
Right.
It is, and there are people there like services out there trying to do that, like that blockchain Audius
Audius was trying to do
was
that.
doing
like,
it,
you
and then
know,
we were talking about one a few weeks back that's doing kind of almost the same thing,
Mhm.
just trying to make payment for artists tied to the blockchain, so you immediately get paid out
Right,
like as
right.
you stream and that kind of thing, and giving people they're boasting like a penny a stream or something like that.
I
which
don't
is-
think it'll ever work or come back. Like the cat's out of the bag. Like
Yeah.
you'd have to. It's kind of like Spotify. Spotify's becoming just an Apple of this. Even though ironically Apple has their own streaming
Yeah,
platform, Spotify is the Apple of streaming platforms. And that's where people are, and they don't have much incentive to like do the right thing here.
Yeah,
because there's
right.
not a lot of competition. You know?
it would be a terrible business decision for them to just give all their profits.
and they're
back.
not
Like, you
really.
know,
It's tech, right? They're not really in it for the music.
No,
They're-
No, not at all.
The CEO said that soon. He said that producers hate making music, and sooner it'll all be made by AI. It's
Oh,
how
I
out
think
of-
I
out
saw
of
I
touch
saw
he
that.
is,
Yeah.
But I mean, they're never going to be like, okay, artists, here you go. Like,
Yes,
that's just
wow,
not going to happen.
exactly.
Like,
Wow. They must not know anybody at the collective because I'm surrounded by individuals who will directly go against
Yeah.
that.
but that just shows how out of touch he is, though. You know, like
Uh-huh.
even if they're like Like, man, I haven't put tunes out in a few years, honestly, and I still make music all the time.
Facts.
Yeah.
You know, like I only love it. Like, I don't even want to push it out. Like,
Just
it's
does
the
it for me.
total opposite of that. Like, yeah,
So-
interesting.
So, Chev,
Yeah.
what's your side of the fence? Remove or keep? Because I don't think you.
I guess I didn't really
you-
chime
you-
in on
you-
that.
You've been dancing. You've been on
Facilitating the
your
conversation.
What if you had to give the artist $5 to see?
Ooh.
What?
Pete is
What
like,
if you wanted to see how many monthly listeners you had to give them $5?
That's interesting. You give them the option, and they in
Yeah.
hand give you direct money.
You're like, how many monthly listeners does D Green have? And it's like, donate $5 to see. And
They're
you're
gonna
like,
say
I'm not- I'm not mad at
and then
that.
they're gonna say 30, and they're gonna go, ah.
you got your $5 though. Hey.
I think, you know, I think that it does generally, because we work with up and coming artists. I see a lot of the torment and the like agony over like trying to get stream counts out, and how, you know, how stressful it is if they're not trending as high as their peers are or whatever. So for those reasons, sometimes I'm kind of like, it really it shouldn't be that. I like that the algorithm does tie it together, and it helps you find people that you may like to listen to, and that hopefully helps you find people with low stream counts too. But like, you know, I think if I had to cast a vote, I'd say like, yeah, turn them off.
Maybe, like, because you think about it, like if you type in an artist in Spotify, what's right underneath their name?
Monthly listeners.
Yeah, they display it as almost it's the second amount of information you get, or really
That-
the first, because you
Or
typed in their
it's
name.
like it's important.
It's important. That is the first thing you see about artists. Maybe if you had to right click a song and go underneath show credits,
Yeah.
Or just put
Yeah,
put
yeah,
it put
yeah,
it
put
maybe
it-
hide,
not
it,
right
hide it
there.
a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
But like, you know, most people don't even know that that's an option in Spotify to look at the credits for a song.
Yeah.
But it's crazy that the first thing you see, and then the first thing you see is their most played song, second most played song, like all that kind of stuff. It kind of promotes that.
It's crazy. It's almost like the credits should be on the front.
Yeah.
You know what? You
numbers
know what
should
else
be
that
in.
drives me crazy about Spotify?
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Get him, Chad.
Is that I can't search Spotify by a producer
Or record label.
or a record label,
Infuriating.
even though
I
that
think
data is
Tidal,
in there.
Tidal does that.
Tidal does it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
That's the
I
one
know.
sweet thing about
It's,
Tidal.
it's infuriating though. You
It
have to
is.
look up for a user created playlist that's done that for you.
Yeah, or hope that the producer has done it themselves. Like, here's all the stuff I've,
Totally.
you know.
Annoying. I agree.
Yeah.
I think you
Agreed.
can even look up mix engineers on
Yeah.
Tidal.
You can do anything. You just
writers
pick
and
somebody's name and then you click on
Full
it, and
credit.
then
You
it
just
shows
see
you
all their stuff.
whatever. Yeah.
But
And-
then, you know, Spotify would have to spend money doing that, and they're too busy buying mansions. and
Tobias says
yachts and
Apple
stuff.
Music has that for producers, engineers, and
Love it.
session musicians.
Oh,
That's
Apple
pretty
has it
sick.
now?
I guess
Yep.
that's what.
Maybe I
shit.
should switch over. I just got a new phone.
See-
I got a couple months of free Apple Music. I think I might
I've been
try it.
with Apple Music for a while. I have never subscribed to Spotify. I have just
Really?
100%
You're Apple.
Apple Music
Wow.
for sure. For sure.
Okay.
And I would say I hate going back to Instagram, but I feel like there's a reason why people use that hide the like option.
Yeah.
It's a different perception of the material.
Yeah. Totally.
It's more
You're saying you don't know why they do? Or?
No, I know why.
Oh.
When I put a post up and I hide the like count, or I
Yeah.
see a post with the like count
I
hidden,
didn't even know you could do that.
there is definitely a different perception, and there is a guard wall that is subconsciously kind of comes down. I swear,
Yeah.
it's so true.
But you can
and
still see it on your end, right? It's just not.
I could see it like if I'm the creator
Yeah.
of the post, but
But that's so
again-
much healthier for you to just kind of gauge it, kind of know in the background what's going on, but also like know like everybody else can't see it.
right. But
Yeah.
we're talking about just like the consumer on the flip side of the coin. So I have to put myself like if I was looking at my own post and the perception of I post a photo of me downtown, a professional photo, and it has 12 likes versus like by.
See, that's crazy. I don't ever think like that.
So many people do.
I know
Yeah.
it's the people
And-
that don't have the
and it
understanding that like we've
and
been
it will-
talking about.
and it will dictate if they double tap their thumb. Honestly.
I think that's why I try to get
And it's
people to
weird.
like dig for information, because if you understand the way this is all evolved, you stop making it be this like I hate it. It's more roll with the punches, and you kind of understand how it's evolving. It doesn't make it right, but you start to
It's an interesting thing, the like thing. It's very dualistic thinking. It's like, do I like this or do I not like it? It's like, what if you feel medium about this post? Like,
It's
you know,
Right. It's really the
are you in or you out? Like
the psychology behind it, and
the
it's
whole
like,
the way it's framed. You
Yeah.
know,
so we
like-
should have levels to likes, right? You gotta
or
have
like I think
Kinda like,
likes
half
and
like.
comments are stupid. I
Yeah.
think, like, who cares what people think? I love it when I get a nice spicy YouTube video I'm watching, the comments are disabled. Just like boom. like
I love that.
It's different.
It's different.
That's what I'm
like-
saying. It's different. So I think it absolutely changes the ball game a little bit for just that initial
Yeah.
first impression, because that's really what it is. It's
So-
that first impression.
So you're inspiring everybody to turn off those counts on IG?
Yeah. Let's get rid of
Is
metrics
that
no,
what do you-
entirely.
no, I'm not. But I understand the option why it's there.
Yeah.
I haven't. I think I've only done it once just to see, but it was really just a test to see.
Turned
if
it on or turned it off?
I've turned it off, like hide the like count, like on a reel.
Yeah.
Just you can only see the view count.
And that felt good.
Honestly, it didn't change anything how I felt about it.
But you understood it.
I understood, because I only understand it because I see it when I go, when I'm going through, just like Petey when he goes down and he's like triggered and he wants to do something, comments disable. You're like, what?
I love that though. I love it. Cause like I don't
It's
know.
a
it-
restriction.
I feel
You're
like
like curious.
I feel like for the last decade, it's like get more comments, get more likes, get more comments, and like the ebb and the flow of the world is like now it's like I don't care about any of the comments. Like I don't want any of that. It's like, you know, for a while it was like, you know, the craziest people were the ones covered in tattoos. Now everybody's covered in tattoos. The craziest thing you can have is no tattoos. Like watch out for that guy. Like you know, it's the ebb and the flow of the world. Like.
I just think people and consumers want to feel like a part of a community. And so if they see something that is popular, they're more drawn to that because humans tend to just flock.
But it's also
like
what Russ. It's also what Russ is saying is like everybody's entitled to their opinions and their comments, but that's also always been a thing that's like, for the most part, private,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And it's on you. You're entitled to it. If we come in contact and we talk about it, cool. But you don't have this comment section to just say whatever you want to say. And I think I might turn my comments and my things off.
I think I might just delete all.
I
my
don't
social
care. I
media.
don't. You know, I don't
I
get that
haven't-
many followers.
I
But
haven't
if you want to
posted
follow
since
me,
I got
you know
married.
is the name.
I haven't posted since I got married.
That's your last post.
That's my last post.
But I'm down to take them down. I'm down to take it off. See how
I'll take them down. I don't
Take
care.
'em
I don't
down,
even
see
look
how
at
it
'em.
off. See how
Let's see who can get less comments.
Well, if you can turn it off, you'll get none.
That's the goal. But I
Yeah,
mean,
any more
maybe
comments?
maybe if we weren't so worried about this, we could make some damn tunes. You
Yeah.
know, it's the main kind of point.
There's some interesting comments in the chat. Omar, is it? My eyesight's not that great. It says, unfortunately, at the end of the day, it's about social validation. Spotify is aware that most people listening to music only like what their friends like.
Sheesh, science drop.
I mean, and
Come on.
it's real, but it's like stop looking at the comment section and the likes. Go out into the world. Go to events. Talk to people. Come to Icon Collective and like be around like-minded people. Like there's other ways to do it other than just being in a comment section and say I'm internet friends with this person. Like I think there's a skew going on there where it's like that's just a layer of it, and it
Yeah.
causes stress and it causes a perspective of what all this is, and it's making music get out of your own way and.
Yeah, just be interested, be curious, go and find out some stuff, and maybe don't be so driven by the monthly plays, and maybe look for an artist with low plays and get in on the ground floor.
Yeah.
That I know it's a crazy notion, but
Who'd have thought?
who'd have
Who would've
thought?
thunk?
And if you're an
Oh,
artist,
wait. This music's coming on. I got a PD
Don't worry
Ponder.
about
We got time for a PD Ponder?
We got PD Ponder. This one's a trip too.
We'll go out on a ponder from
don't
the
worry
Big
about
Pete.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, I thought of this the other day actually.
Come on.
Being an artist is kind of like being a chicken at a spelling bee. You don't know what the hell you're doing, but you're flapping hard, man.
Great
Chicken is
discussion.
spelling-
Great ponder. You don't know what you're doing.
PD clicks, everybody.
You're trying. You're trying. You don't know what to do, but you're trying.
Yeah, I like that. Take some creative chances. Go down the rabbit hole.
That's right.
Turn those
Flap,
likes off.
flap them wings.
Nobody knows what they're doing, so just flap the shit out of them wings. Like,
Spotify numbers don't count. Forget them things. Yo, thank you for kicking it with us. Come back. This is awesome having some guests on for the first time, bro.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, come back next week.
we're gonna keep
We'll
doing
be talking more controversy or creativity or mindset in one way or another, and we'd love to chat with you. Thanks to everybody who popped on, Tony, Tobias, Taylor. It was great talking with you.
Yes.
3 T's today.
3 Ts.
Nobody, I guess you got to be, your name's got to start with a T to get on the show.
I feel like this is the dawn of a new era of interactivity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Gresham
Yeah.
on the tech side.
Holding it
Alex
down.
Gresham,
Alex
holding
Gresham.
it down, getting us.
Put a
getting us
1 in the
getting
chat
us
if you
up
think
and running.
Alex should have a mic.
Yeah, if you think
Yeah,
Alex,
can we get a mic for Alex next week so he can join?
yeah.
There we go.
Yeah,
We're getting Alex a mic. He's
We're getting you a
going
mic.
crazy on the tech, so you deserve it, baby. Yeah, Artist Mindset Workshop Pod.
Bye.
Late.
Peace.